loud. There we go. And go live on Facebook.
Jamie's all propped up.
It's.
Hey, Estella.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Everybody always has these very nice picture perfect backgrounds. And I'm like, you know what? I can't, it is what it is.
That's why mine's fuzzy a lot of the time. But guys, we're live on Facebook. So this is gonna be a really fun one. So this is our intro interview with Miss Jamie. Jamie was the first person that I met when we started the group. And I think you were the first like one-on-one interview we did, weren't you?
I think
and
so.
It was really bad on my part.
Hey,
but it was a lot of fun. And sometimes when you talk with people, immediately like those are your people. And Jamie's absolutely one of my people. So Jamie, thank you so much for not only coming and visiting with us today, but also taking on this crazy journey with me and coming to Chicago and doing all that crazy stuff that we're doing. So to give people a little introduction, where are you based? Where are you from? All that fun stuff.
I am in Northern Virginia. I do want to preface anything by saying I'm still in the very after effects of COVID. So if I start coughing my head off, I apologize. That's why I popped a cough drop in my mouth. At any rate, I'm in Northern Virginia. I serve the Northern Virginia area, which includes Arlington County, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, and Prince William County. I'm also licensed in DC.
Wow.
And honestly, the Northern Virginia and DC market, I mean, there's a lot of people that do DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and I really just do DC and Virginia. It's kind of small. It's large, but it's kind of small, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm with Keller Williams Capital Properties and headquartered in Fairfax.
Are you originally from that area? I don't think I ever asked you that.
No, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I moved here in 1990 with the intention of being here for a few years, and then I was going to go follow the music scene to Austin, Texas. And here I am 32 years later, still in DC. I fell absolutely in love with this area. Is such a unique area in the sense that, for better or for worse, we have very highly educated people here. We have a ton of government, we have a ton of private industry, and a lot of tech. We're actually the second largest tech corridor in the country outside of Silicon Valley.
Wow.
And we are surrounded by so many interesting people that anytime you go to a happy hour or you go to an event and you talk to people, our first question is always, what do you do? Because you meet people who are rocket scientists or who, I mean, that's a thing that you meet. That's like a normal thing.
Oh.
So you have these interesting conversations with people. It's just a really fascinating place to live in addition to just the Smithsonian's and all the arts and culture that's here and the great restaurants. You all want to move to Virginia now, don't you?
No, it says snows there.
But yes.
So, how many animals do you have? What do you have? I know Tango's probably in the back, right?
He's not right now. I'm surprised because usually when he hears me talking, he comes in. He's probably upstairs with my husband. I have one dog who's a pit mix rescue. He is 11 years old, and I have 3 cats. Our oldest cat is also 11. I have an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 9-year-old cat. The last cat kind of has an interesting story. He's actually sitting on my desk right now. He was rescued from a house, a listing I did in my second year of real estate. The tenant who lived there was being evicted. It was a friendly eviction, but he was still being evicted. And he had a mother cat with 4 kittens. And he was moving back in with his parents, and his parents said, absolutely not, you're not bringing that cat. He also lived in a very rural area with very high kill rates at the shelters. I gave him my card. I said, if you're unable to find them a home, let me know. on my birthday, he called. I looked at my husband. I was like, hey, sweetie, can we drive down to Fredericksburg, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away, depending on traffic, and pick up these 5 cats and bring them home. And we had 4 cats at the time. So I brought home 5 cats and now we had 9 cats. And, and he's the last one. I was able to, I took everybody who gets spayed, neutered, all the things that you had to do. And then I went on a very long journey of rehoming them to great homes. They're all with great homes, other than the last one that we kept, who is Apollo, and he's still with us.
That's an awesome story.
Your husband's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
And because this is interesting, what did you do before real estate?
I was in association management. I was in nonprofit management for almost 20 years. And I was the deputy CEO for a construction trade association called Independent Electrical Contractors. That was my most recent job. And I worked in nonprofits for 20 years in education and event planning.
That was always one of the things that I thought was really interesting about your background, is that you kind of have a background in, nonprofit and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
What brought you into real estate? Like, why was that the jump that you made?
So interesting. I actually wanted to go into real estate right out of college. I went marching into a Century 21 office, like with my degree fresh off the press. And I was like, hey, y'all, can I work here? And they were like, yeah, sure. Here's what you have to do. You have to go get licensed. You have to have and they did tell me a lot about what I would need to do to start my own business. I was 22 years old. I had a ton of student debt. I didn't know anybody who was going to be buying a house. It was very intimidating to me. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me. And then when I was having my midlife crisis, I decided that this is something I wanted to go back into. And I checked my 20-year career and I looked at my husband, who again, yes, is great. And I said, hey, sweetie, I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to start my own business. So thank you. And he said, great, good luck. I'm here for you.
That's really funny. When I started in real estate, I had already built 2 companies in a different industry. And Ashley, when I told her, okay, I think I'm going to start this other company, she's like, okay, will you keep that one then? Like, will you stop going and starting different ones over and over? Yeah, right? That's probably a good idea. At some point to stay in it. And what's your role in your business? Because you're a solo agent who does massive production.
I'm a solo agent. I have a part-time admin who lives in another state.
Gotcha.
So she's basically virtual. I did almost 17 million in sales last year.
Wow.
I have been, when I went into this business, I left a good job and I didn't have the opportunity to fail. So it was, or I should say the option to fail. Everybody has an opportunity to fail. And when I went into this, I was like, I have to be successful. I have to match or exceed my previous income. And I went into it full time, both full hog, and I didn't stop. So I am a high D. I am not necessarily the best team player. So I've never been on a team. I don't like to be told what to do.
Oh my gosh, you and I are soul sisters, Jamie.
Well, and you're more of the DS side than I used to be a DI. Now I'm much more ID, but you're the other side of the D, right? The DS.
I'm actually a DI. I'm a DISC, straight like that. But I explain to people I am pretty good at detail. As Joe knows, I'm always the one that's kind of like, okay, now how are we going to do that? And I think it's because I realize it's a shortcoming and I have to focus more attention on it. Because I'm really great at big lofty ideas and let's go do this. And then I get really bogged down in the details.
I get it. What's your favorite thing about real estate?
I love that every transaction is different. I love that all of my I meet the most interesting people. I've had a state senator as a client. I have had, tech people as a client. I've had school teachers. I have a ton of school teachers, but I've had really interesting people as clients, and I've become friends with a lot of them. And every transaction has a little different of a nuance to it, so you don't get bored.
And just to give you guys all a background, everybody that's watching. So Jamie does a little bit of everything in real estate. So she does, help people buy and sell. She also helps fund clients' rehabs at times when she's selling their house. She does long-term rental and she does short-term rental. Right? Did I get everything? Is that pretty much it?
I do short-term rental for my own properties. I have a short-term rental property, but I help landlords and tenants. I still help. That's part of how I built my business. I will never stop working with landlords and tenants, especially around here. Tenants have a really hard time getting a real estate agent to respond to them. It's not big money, but they also develop a loyalty, and some of my tenant clients have been my best referral sources.
Oh yeah. What's your biggest struggle with real estate?
Well, the fact that I am a solo agent is probably the biggest struggle. I have, being an agent in my office makes it a little bit easier because we do have newer agents that we can tap into to help us with things if we're out of town and stuff. And I pay people to do showings or things like that. But it is hard, you can't be everywhere at once. You can't do everything at once. And I do need to eventually grow and bring somebody on. And that's actually something I'm talking to somebody about right now. So yeah.
It's tough to give up. It really is. And I know, I did that last year and decided that it wasn't necessarily, I'm not a good manager of people. That's what I've decided. So either my next hire has to be somebody that manages the other people, because I am not a good manager of people. I'm a good leader of people. I'm a horrible manager of people. I'm too excited. Like, if you tell me something, I want to believe you. I don't want to have to check to make sure you did something.
Yeah. Right. Accountability. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm horrible with that part.
It's called babysitting.
Yeah, exactly. What are your goals? What is your 5-year goal with Homes for All?
Well, my goal, every year my sales goal goes up a little bit, and I'm not trying to, I know there's a lot of agents out there that are all into building a team of 40 people and, doing hundreds of millions in sales. That's not my goal. But my goal is to eventually get up to the point where I'm doing maybe $25 million a year in sales. And I do that with either with a showing partner or part-time agent or somebody who wants to, help. And then also an assistant or two. I really kind of like that model. My other goal is with every transaction, I make a $250 donation to a local animal rescue. So my annual goal for that is always a minimum of $10,000 a year to local animal rescues. And I hope that gets bigger, and that, one of the things I've not done a great job of that I want to get better about is looping in all of my partners into that goal too. So my partners being lenders, title people, whatever, even if they're making a small donation to a local animal rescue every time I bring them a transaction, or help, if they want to do it on their own for other things, that's great too. But that's really something I've kind of been so about. And I want to get better at that, because I could, in a sense, double that dollar value by having those people participate.
So I am actually, and I'll share it with you here shortly, I am actually writing up kind of like what you have where the donation goes. I have one that I'm writing up that says I give permission for these people to contact me. So like my ADT guy will give me $200. I don't want the $200. I want him to give it to the rescue. So I'm writing that up so that clients can decide, like, yeah, I don't mind if this person calls, but I don't want the person who's given $5 to call or whatever, I just thought that, giving, I don't like to sell anybody's information. So I want to give them the option to opt out of it. But if they look and they see if these 5 people call me, it's an extra $400. Everybody I know is going to click the button. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know, remind me, because I did start making that up. It's probably in our documents, actually. All right, rescue background.
Let me hold on one second.
Oh.
Hey, Joe, did you send me the link?
Okay. Sorry about that.
To
I hate to have to do that. Are cleaning people show up on Wednesday?
not yet.
No, he's gonna start first.
Our conversation.
he's
very
okay.
excited. He's very excited.
Yeah, when somebody rings my doorbell, I've been told, sounds like I'm here at the animal shelter because I have my 4 dogs and my foster. Yeah, because I've had animal control come because of not my animals, but for some other reason. And because I work with them as well. And they're like, oh man, I feel like I'm still at the office.
Right?
So Jamie, how long
about
have you been involved in animal rescue? When did you first get involved?
Well, I would say, other than the fact that I feel like I've been adopting animals from shelters since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. My husband actually really is the one who got me involved with.
He's just excited.
Thank you.
Tango.
So my husband is the one who got me engaged in animal rescue. He is the one who inspired me to volunteer with my first cat rescue, probably in about 2002. So,
And you work
so
with,
it's been 20 years.
I know you work with several different rescues, right?
Yes.
But you primarily work with who?
I primarily work with the Animal Welfare League of Arlington. They get probably a bulk of my donations, as well as the fact that I am a kitten foster for them. So they
you have kittens
have,
right now?
I'm sorry?
Do you have kittens right now?
No, not right now, because we're getting ready to go on vacation. That's the only reason why. But we have, the AWLA has the most interesting program. I actually want to get their founder of the program that I'm talking about onto one of our calls. They have what's called the Kitten College program. It's one of the largest neonatal cat rescue programs in the country. They actually go out and teach this to other rescues. Last year, we put nearly 1,600 kittens through our program. We pull them from rural shelters around the area. We get them from everywhere. We get them from Maryland, DC, Virginia. We get them from like way down rural Virginia. We've got them from the Carolinas. They come to us and we get them everywhere from a pregnant mama to a day-old kitten. 99.9% of shelters will put them down immediately. They will not keep them because they don't have the resources or the ability to care for neonatal kittens. And neonatal kittens get very sick in shelters. They're just very compromised. So a lot of them don't make it out the door. We started this program. I didn't start the program, but the people who started this program, I got involved about a year after they started it. And it is huge. We have over 100 fosters in our program, and we have, at any given time, we probably have 300 or 400 kittens in foster.
Wow.
A lot of kittens.
Yeah.
Same here in Sacramento and more.
Yeah, that's great.
The concept is amazing of helping teach other rescues how to do that, because it's hard. I don't think, and I bet most of the people watching don't realize, it is much easier to house 50 dogs than it is to have 50 cats. And it's because you have to have different ventilation. You have to have a lot of different things because the waste is contained and all of that kind of stuff. It is easier to run a feline rescue through foster than it ever is to have it under one roof. It's a very difficult thing to have it under one roof.
Yeah, it is. This is my troublemaker, Apollo. Sorry, you can say hi. He's in here now.
And so we went over what you do for them. So you help them with fostering, but you also do events and all that fun stuff, don't you?
I have done event. So I used to do a lot of events with them. Now I do once a year. I do the Marty Paw. I've only done it for the first time this year. Marty Paw's Pet Parade and Costume Contest, which I totally stole from Estella. And I plan to make it a bigger event, and it'll be an annual event every year that goes to support Beta Relay.
One I think is going to be fun, and I hope that as a group we can help you continue to grow that. And like I said, I think you need to come in town and go to the Bargain Pet Parade one year. The Sioux Lard one. I think it'd be a trip. So what's your favorite feel-good story?
Oh goodness, my favorite feel-good story. I have had, honestly, one of the feel-good stories I have is the story I told you about rescuing Apollo and his mom from that house. As far as, I've had a lot of great experience with animals throughout my life. I was an only child, and animals have been around since the day I was born. I was born into a house that had a dog, a cat, and a snake.
Oh my God.
There you go.
So, we had all the different animals. My father was great at bringing home strays, and he really helped. Both he and my mother really helped establish my love of all animals, great and small. I really have and I love to see that I've instilled that in my stepchildren. So one of the things I really try hard to do especially when I spend time with children, with my clients, we're looking at homes and somebody sees a spider, vacant home, right? You're going to see bugs, and a little kid will see a spider and be like, it's a spider, kill it. And then I spend, the next minute and a half explaining how spiders are important and we don't want to kill them and they're our friends. And I pick it up and I show it to them and I put it outside, so those are, I don't know. I have a bunch of those kind of things, so it's just always been about doing what I can. I'm very I don't kill anything other than, I'm sorry to say, mosquitoes and cockroaches and ticks. Please ticks, mosquitoes.
Yeah, ticks can just be gone.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But and that's only if they're in my space or on my pets.
Don't forget flies. Oh my gosh.
Flies, again, if they're in my space, yes. But if they're outside, they're outside.
No, we get them here where I'm at. I get them all over. I just killed like 100 of them. Seriously.
My.
In my house. I don't know where they came from.
Oh, horrible.
So, couple quick questions. So you were one of the first members of the group, right? You were within the first 50, I think, that joined.
Yep.
What's your favorite part so far about what we've been doing?
Well, my favorite part is that, first of all, I have to say, Joe did this thing that I had been thinking about doing, right? And then he did it. And I was like, well, there you go. So I was really happy to kind of get it on the ground floor. But my favorite part has been seeing all the different people who joined. So on the back end of things, Joe and I and Christina approved the memberships, and people have to tell us, whether they're involved in an animal rescue or what they do, that kind of thing. And seeing a lot of that come through and how many agents are involved in that rescue. And we have a number of agents who founded rescues, who have their own rescues, who really do some things that I've aspired to do. So that's really just wonderful to me. I can't say enough good things about that. That's what's really made me happy about being part of this group.
So what do you see in the future? So I have obviously big plans.
Yeah, we do.
And you help me keep those grounded a little bit. But what do you, in a box, what do you see? So I'm all about making an impact with the group. Mm-hmm. What do you see that we can do to make an impact either in our clients' lives or in the rescue community, more importantly?
Yeah. So where I would love to see this go and where I think we have the ability to make the most impact is first and foremost with education of the the agent base in understanding what kind of an impact you can have on a local animal rescue. A lot of people aren't aware of how involved they can get and or just the idea of donating with every settlement is foreign to a lot of people. I mean, that was something that people were like, oh, you do that, So making that a part of your mission, teaching people how to do that, giving people the resources and tools they need to impact these rescues. And that gives back to the community. Oh my God, between the dog and the cat, I'm not quite sure who's making more
I was
noise.
going to say, your kids are being rowdy today,
They
Jamie.
are. Every time I'm talking, they're like, what's going on? We want to see people, we want to be able to give them the tools and resources they need to go be successful with their rescues and to help their rescues be successful.
Absolutely. I think what I've seen that I thought was really impressive is not only the amount of people that are already involved, but the amount of people that come and go, how do I be involved?
Yeah.
Because when we first started talking, we said, okay, do we limit it to people who only are already involved? And then we said, well, why wouldn't we want to teach more people how to do more, right? And so we started opening it up to a lot more people and saying, hey, come in, learn. Because, hey, if we get one person at every rescue, man, we can make a huge impact.
And we also want to, I know that we really want to get, for those of you who have been around since the beginning, we used to do the $5 Fridays, which we want to start getting back into. And, right now we have 1,200 people in our group. Even if half of those gave $5 every Friday, and $5 every Friday isn't very much, and it's less than your Starbucks. It's really not very much money. And just the impact that group could have on the rescues that get pulled for the $5 Fridays, that would make a big impact.
Can I add something to the $5 Fridays? I always forget. So I'm going to put it on my calendar so it constantly sends me a reminder. Maybe if we could get people do you mind putting it on your calendar to give you a reminder so that we're having because I'm bad, I forget. So if it's not on my calendar, it's like, shh.
Yeah.
We haven't done one for a little while just because we had so much going on in the background that we wanted to focus on. But yeah, once we start doing them again, what I'm thinking will make them more like an event so that they will pop up every week. And we want to make sure that we're sharing that around to all the different rescues that our folks, help out so that, because we're talking, like Jamie said, if half the people did it, it'd be what, 12 grand? If I'm doing the math correctly. That's a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
Funny,
that's a big donation to any rescue. Right? Any one of them would be bouncing off the walls to get that kind of donation from a group.
I have a question on that, just so that we're all clear. For example, I want to support Rio Linda Feral Cat Rescue because they're picking up the slack for the city of Sacramento. And oh my God, I don't even know how they wake up every morning because I don't even think they get any sleep. And they are just overwhelmed. And so it was like my Friday, or do we rotate, or how is that going to work if we have 1,200 members and they have their favorite rescues?
So
as we release more of what we've got going on, we'll explain how that's going to work.
Perfect.
Yeah, how we're going to rotate it around, because we want to be able to help as many as possible. That's the biggest thing. And what we were running into wasn't that people weren't donating or anything like that. It was that the organization time that it took for me and Jamie to try to pull it together. We were incredibly inefficient. I take full blame for that. We were just incredibly inefficient in getting it done. So as we start releasing more of what we're going to do with the group, that's going to be another addition that we start showing people how to submit.
Yeah, we also have to get people to give us more information, because how I was pulling that was from, people saying they supported this rescue, but then I'd have to go dig up, what did they do for the rescue? What did the rescue do? Well, we're going to probably have a document that says, if you want your rescue to be considered, you have to fill out all this information, because I shouldn't be doing all the legwork on that.
We need to get a contact form thing. Chris can make one for us. She's really good at that stuff. Maybe we can have her make us a contact form that we can use. That's a good idea. I appreciate you mentioning that, Estella, because I think we do need to get a good way for people to say, hey, I want to submit somebody. And then really we're basically drawing from a hat at this point. We're basically allowing, unless there's a specific, oh my gosh, this is an emergency. Make sense? All right, Jamie, we're almost done, but you could be any animal. What would you be?
Well, goodness, I'd probably be my cat. I just come back as my own cat or my neighbor's cat. I have some friends that very much spoil their cats. Probably a cat. I think that goes without saying. I think they have good lives. Somehow they've managed to make us work for them. If anybody has watched The Sandman on Netflix, they just put out a bonus episode, something about, and it's actually an animated one that's got, it centers around a cat and talking about like the history of cats and in that particular universe. And it's very fascinating about how they make people work for them.
Did you see the graphic that Max made that said that was how your signs your cat's trying to kill you?
Yes.
Like staring content is pretty funny. I love when she comes up with all the fun stuff. What's your favorite quote? I don't think I warmed you up for that one, but
my favorite quote has always been, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take," Wayne Gretzky. Because it really works for everything. Anytime anybody, especially in real estate, if you're worried that you're not going to get something, you're not going to get a listing, or you're not going to get a deal, or even in a negotiation, you're not going to get something that your client wants. Well, you know what? You definitely won't get it if you don't try. So
yeah,
you got to try.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I love that quote. I love Wayne in general, but yeah, I love that quote. And I think it especially rings true in real estate, because most people lose real estate because they didn't try, right? Because they talk themselves out of making that call or out of sending that email, rather than picked up the phone and somebody yelled at them and then they quit, right?
You may not have this on your list, but I did want to mention a couple of things that I try to do as animal related things for my clients.
Absolutely.
And it's a great piece of advice for those of you. I'm sure every one of us has a million friends on Facebook that have pets, right?
Right.
So I use a card program. There's a number of them: AM cards, send out cards, banner season. And one of the things I do is every time my clients or friends, doesn't have to be clients, when they adopt a pet or if they lose a pet, I send them a condolence card with a photo of that pet on the front, or a welcome to the new family card with a photo of the pet on the front. The greeting cards are things that people hang on to. So for instance, here's one that's actually my cat. This was a New Year's card that we sent out. But because of this, you would hang on to the card because it's something, and then you have your information on the back. It's a great way to touch your clients. You're marking a period in time where it could be something sad, but so many people, we use cell phones now for photos, that they don't have hard copies of pictures anymore. So this is a great way of sending a photo to people for them to hang on to. And I see them on
I love it. We were talking about wow and one client every day. We were talking about wow and one person every day. That's a big wow, guys. That's a huge wow.
Yeah.
So that's one little takeaway I'll leave you guys with. That I really try to weave animal rescue into everything I do. For those of you that haven't seen, it's something that my mission is on the back of my business card. It talks about the fact that I make a donation for every transaction. Sometimes you find that you are doing something for somebody that you may or may not be charging for. And I don't mean like a buyer or a seller, but sometimes, like I help a friend of mine every now and then. She's had a rental property, and I'll look over things for her, or I'll help her with the applications for a tenant. or something like that. And every time anybody asks me if they can pay me, I say, you can make a donation to AWLA, and I give them a link. And that's how, like, you can do that with retainer fees. So if you do work with tenants, and I do charge a $100 retainer fee to work with tenants, but it's a donation to an animal rescue. I'm not getting the money.
Well, I love that.
So these are things that, ways of doing business, that things you may or may not be charging for, that they're small things. And you can direct that towards animal rescue, and people love it. I mean, my clients love it. They love the fact, they get so excited when you present that form to them at settlement and you say, hey, pick your animal rescue. They get excited about it. They're like, oh my God, this is like my favorite part. I can't wait. And then, make a big deal out of that. So
Jamie, can I just say something that is just so wonderful that you do that. And thank you for sharing that document with us.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I got to finish it up, but I think it's just something that just kind of puts the icing on the cake at the end of the signing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't go overboard on gifts. A lot of people are always like, what kind of a closing gift can I get? I do give my people a cutting board that's engraved with their name on it. For buyers. For sellers, I don't give them a gift. They just sold a house and got a big pile of money. What am I going to do? But the donation is a gift. And a lot of times, if my clients are pet people, they have a rescue that they got that pet from, that I'll now make a donation to that rescue. So it means a lot to them.
You know what I give my sellers? I give them moving boxes.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, my husband gets them all free from his office because from what he does, and I go, just bring them, and I flatten them out, and I go, hey, I have moving boxes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, we give dog tags. They cost us, well, they used to cost us $7 at PetSmart, and now my wife makes them on her Cricket for, I think they're like 37 cents, and that gets
That's
more
perfect.
thank yous than any $500 gift I've ever given anybody. Right?
Yeah.
New
yeah,
dog
'cause-
tags, new
yeah.
address, and it saves me phone calls too when the dog gets out, right? So Jamie, Bev, Estella, Loretta, who's got a question that they want to ask Jamie that we didn't cover? Is there anything we didn't cover? We went through a lot.
Yeah, we went through a lot, but Jamie, like, how do you do that big of a volume by yourself and all that you do with the rescue and sleep? Like, I can't figure that out.
Well, to be clear, I don't have any small children. So I don't have anybody other than my fur kids taking up time. It's really, I try to do good with time management. I do leverage my assistant for things. And I do leverage. So I will tell you, leverage. I know that Joe, he had a session on here a little while ago about working with people, about leveraging.
Yeah.
I have an accountant. I have a bookkeeper. I don't do any of my financial stuff. That is such a time suck for me. And it kills my brain cells. That is, I am not an S or a C. I don't like that detail stuff. That stuff all gets turned over to somebody else. My tax person just says, here, this is how much you owe, or how much, whatever. Oh, great. Tell me who to write a check to. Really look for ways of leveraging. I don't put in my own signs. I don't show up for the photographer. I have a home stager that I pay to stage all of my properties.
Right.
I trust that she will leave the property in photo ready condition. So it's really about having, so even though I'm a team of one agent, I do have a solid team behind me, and I trust them to do the things that they need to do. I used to run around and do all that stuff. I don't do any of that stuff now. So that's really how I get a lot of my time back. I do spend time with my buyers. I do go to the settlement. I go to the walkthrough. I go to the inspection,
Right.
But with my listings, I do all the upfront work, and then I trust that my team will take care of everything else that needs done.
Yeah. See here, we're not allowed to put, a lot of the HOAs won't allow us to put signs in, which is the most ridiculous thing, because why would you want vacant houses in your neighborhood? But so we don't have the sign issue as much. I don't go meet the photographer either. That's what I pay them for. They should be competent to do the job. But after talking with Bonnie, I have a meeting with Cyberbacker on Monday. Because I'm like, that's
Very good.
probably what I need more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, having an assistant do the small things really makes a big difference.
One
Do
of the
your
things,
20% and do it better than anybody else.
Right.
one of the things I really was a good tip that I'm going to take away from this is because I've got partners like my termite guy, my home inspector, my go-to people. I never thought of asking them to partner with me to make donations.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, that's a way to kind of earn my future business. I guess they just, so I appreciate that. That's definitely a takeaway for me today. Thank you.
Good.
Awesome.
And then, and then I was also thinking about the fundraisers. We were talking about, the Friday, $10 or $5 Fridays. One of the local mom and pop rescues here does like, $10 Tuesdays. But after a while, I think that I don't see them promoting that much anymore. So as we were talking, I thought, well, how does, you incorporate real estate with your rescue? How about if we did individually now, of course, because we're at different markets, but when we're on Facebook and we post our listings every now and then, how about maybe seeing if anybody might be willing to enter into a contest? Hey, I'm listing this house for X number of dollars. What do you think it'll finally sell for? It used to be a gimme that it was definitely going to be over list price before the market fell apart a few months ago. Now it's anybody's guess. So how about what do you all think of this idea? Doing a contest. Hey, what do you think this house is going to sell for? And pay $5 to enter into the drawing. And the proceeds will go toward a rescue of your choice.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've done
Or
similar.
even do it as a 50-50. Do it
Yeah,
as a
do it as
50-50 too, where they get
Okay.
50%, something like that. I think you'll get a bigger response, but I love the idea.
Okay.
I just came up with an idea listening to you gals and also you, Joe. Sorry. I was thinking about the listing because I just put one on the market, went live today. And I think I was thinking about getting like a little jar and then donate to a rescue and just throw your change or coins or whatever you like. What if we do that inside, or do you think that might be a problem where somebody could steal the money?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would try it.
I mean, if it was like for an open house or donation.
I do I didn't talk about this because it's not animal related, but you could make it animal related. With all of my open houses, I do a food drive for a local food pantry. So you could do a pet food drive, you could do a pet supplies drive, you could do whatever. And then I walk around, well, I pay somebody, again, leverage. I pay somebody to walk around my neighborhood. There's a sticker that goes on this, so that'll have the actual address of the property in which I'm holding open. It says there's an open house on it. And on the back, it says, hey, bring some food for the food drive. It goes on all the doors. And then in response, I give them an insulated shopping bag with all of my logo material on it. And it's got a flyer in there about my services. So they bring food. I give them an insulated reusable shopping bag. It's advertising. And then I also get them to give me, I'm really good about getting open house people to sign in because I use QR codes and I do everything from the phone. But I do get people to give me their addresses because I tell them I want to send you a thank you card. So they give me their information because they want to get a thank you card. And then I usually do like a photo of me dropping off all the food at the food pantry that I collected at that open house. So
That's nice.
yeah, it closes the loop. And again, using photos, I can't say enough about using a card program that allows you to put photos on it. It's worth the money. That's not very expensive.
Right.
I
Do you have
just
to get,
use it
I'm
all the
sorry,
time. That's right.
do you have to get your seller's permission to hold that food drive donation?
I tell them I don't ask permission for anything. I tell them what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And hey, the more people you get at the open house, the more opportunity you have to sell it. And the more people you get through the house, the more opportunity you have to sell it.
Right.
So whether it's those
Why
people
would they say no?
or whether they know somebody who might like it, they're not gonna, I've never had anybody say no.
Okay.
So I have another idea I just thought of. I'm just thinking, you guys are making me think. Like a food pantry, or for, humans or for animals. But there's just so many different options. You could have like a table in the rescue that you work with. It could be like at the entrance, because people don't want animals in their house. So I thought, okay, you can't have that, it might not work out because of the allergies and all that, blah, blah, blah. But if you had maybe even inside or outside, and the rescue could have photos of the kittens that are adoptable kittens, and give out information, just have a little, and then advertise that. Coming with
And
your
we're
rescue.
gonna build out a door hanger. Too. We're gonna build out a door hanger for people that want to do a pet food drive as part of their opens. So we're gonna have Maxine go ahead and just build out the template for you guys so that
Oh,
she can
great.
share it with everybody. Because I love that idea of having an excuse to go to everybody's house that isn't, hey, come to my open house, right?
Yeah.
And that was one we totally stole from Jamie. But just gotta twist it a little bit, right? And make it pet related, because that's what I do. So, okay, last thing, Jamie, if you could tell any agent that's under 3 years in the business, or that's doing around 10, 12 transactions, how to get to where you are, what's your one piece of advice?
I don't know if I have one piece of advice, but it's my one piece of advice is to be yourself, capitalize on your strengths, be genuine in everything you do, and participate in the communities in ways that are genuine to you. So, if you have kids and you want to be a member of the PTA, then that's your target audience. Go after it. If you love animals and volunteer at a local animal rescue, then that's great. Capitalize on that. I go to yappy hours. I go to the last happy hour I went to was a thing for AWLA. They did a yappy hour at an outdoor place. I went. I made 2 connections with people who are interested in buying homes. Just being myself. Took my dog, had a drink, not dressed up. I was wearing a t-shirt that said, I sell homes so dogs can find houses, or I sell houses so dogs can find homes. It's just be genuine. People will see through you if you're not being genuine.
It's funny that you say that, Jamie, because I always say, like, I teach a lot in the office, and I tell the agents all the time, I get more business being at happy hour or being there on a Saturday or Sunday in my ripped jeans, my t-shirt, my flip-flops. I'm like, because people just want to know you for who you are. And they will have a conversation with you when they feel comfortable with you, when, like you said, you're being genuine.
100% agree. I think that there's a misconception that there is this one type of person that becomes a realtor, and
Right.
It's so far from that, because it's such a personal relationship that it takes to help somebody, that you need so many different personalities, so many different interests to be able to make those connections. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And I know when I stopped wearing a suit, and I tripled my business, right? Because that wasn't me going into an appointment, right?
Well, I was telling my broker today, like, a lot of times somebody will call on a Saturday to go see a house, and I'll be, putzing around here. It's 90 million degrees outside. So I got shorts and a t-shirt on, and I'll say, oh, let me go change. And they're like, why? I'm like, I'm in my shorts and t-shirt. They're like, we don't care. Come show us the house.
Yeah.
They're like, it's too hot here. I call it the Florida weight loss program. It's too freaking.
Yes.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much.
Yes.
This was a lot of fun. It was fun talking to you, of course, but thank you for coming on and sharing your infinite wisdom. We do need to, and I've told you this before, I think we need to do an STR one pretty soon with you and Chris both, and talk short-term rentals, because the opportunity there right now is so amazing that if you're not doing it, which I'm not, so I'll have a ton of questions. I think everybody should be.
And we
I
have
really
a
do.
huge short-term rental here in
I would imagine
Orlando.
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think that that's a conversation that we need to have soon. For everybody watching, thank you everybody for watching. We will be releasing more here hopefully by the end of the month or shortly after Labor Day, depending on how quickly I can get things together. But yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming, a lot of stuff we've been working on over the last 6 months or so. And
Make sure you follow Wrangler Realtor.
oh yes, you guys should be following her TikTok, all of that stuff for sure. Jamie, thank you so much. And as always, have your pet spayed or neutered. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Thanks, Jamie. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye, guys.